BloodRayne is one of those games that has no pretense of delivering depth. Terminal Reality's hybrid action game, featuring a hybrid vampire no less, would stack the deck with nasties to kill, gore by the bucket load, and all the trappings of a B-movie. But like those cult classics which endure, Rayne's kitsch tale is one that's easy to pick up, boasts plenty of enjoyable moments, and tons of actions to keep you hooked, even if a slower beginning and lack of gameplay evolution may turn off the more discerning gamer. However, as far as PlayStation 2 action games go, this one has more bite than most of its contemporaries. This blood-soaked story follows Agent BloodRayne, a Dhampir who enjoys all the perks of the vampire bloodline without many of its drawbacks. In the 1930s, she joins the covert Brimstone Society and carries out supernatural tasks for the Order. These include investigating a viral outbreak in Louisiana and hunting down Nazi generals located around the world. BloodRayne, while light years away from being an Oscar-worthy story, mostly gets by on the dry and sarcastic delivery of the titular hero, anchored by Laura Bailey's performance. Zingy one-liners, plenty of early 2000s attitude, and some of the same zest that made Regina from Dino Crisis so memorable. You're watching Glee as she cuts up mostly cardboard thin antagonists with little mercy, both with her talk and her sharp blades.
I'm sure you believe that. All of it. Everybody makes mistakes.
Enough of your insolence. I will prove Aryan superiority to you.
Ever heard of overcompensation?
While action games hadn't fully found their footing in the 3D space by 2002, BloodRayne moves along surprisingly well, allowing you to both carve up nasties with melee attacks and shoot scavenged guns from the period. The controls and camera are mostly up to the task. There's a slew of control schemes available, including one which apes a first-person shooter, but the default third-person shooter scheme is the way to go. An invisible lock-on function helps you aim and also handily indicates when a threat is nearby. Whether you are slicing or shooting, combat feels weighty yet fast, and rather satisfying. Whether you're fighting undead hillbillies, Nazi soldiers, or fantasy monsters, watching them turn to chunks never gets old. The only instance when the camera can be a pain is during rare jumping segments, with a perspective that can feel too narrow to properly gauge gaps. There's a ton of really memorable encounters here too. The opening act concludes with a boss against the mother of the underworld, a parasitic behemoth which must be taken down by dismembering its multiple legs, and it proves fun. Once you hit the second act, Rayne begins scratching Nazi generals off of a hit list, and some stages allow you to freely decide who to target first, adding a dash of non-linearity that is welcome. There's also an intense chase through a narrow hallway as waves of monsters chase you, climaxing with you detonating nearby barrels to blow them up in slow motion. It's just a treat. Rayne has some cool abilities which enhance these moments too, including being able to walk across wires and suck the blood of enemies to regain health, the latter proving a very important function that replaces health packs entirely. Not everything is as compelling, though. The opening act feels a bit slow at points, as running through foggy swamps and fighting off bloodless parasitic creatures lacks the oomph of later levels against fleshy humans. It also doesn't really evolve much, as outside of offering different paths to the generals, new abilities you gain feel inconsequential. Rayne's vision ability doesn't really add much over the radar, and colours the screen in an unsightly palette. Slow motion seems neat on paper, and being able to use it indefinitely is a neat twist, but you'll find it doesn't get much use outside of slowing down certain foes who require intricate timings. And the last ability, a zoom allowing you to precision aim, stops your movement completely and doesn't help. The only potent ability is earned through repeated strikes, and once a meter is filled, you can perform a deadly chain of strikes while everything is slowed down, which can make chopping up some sub-bosses a breeze. It's potent, and more combos unlock with use, which is even better. BloodRayne's presentation is mixed in quality, though some neat tricks do stand out compared to games of the same year. Rayne's animations and character model clearly saw the most work, with her realistic movements, the flowing of her hair, and the black ribbon she wears, as well as decent facial animations. Secondary characters and enemies, sadly, didn't get quite the same treatment. Environments look appropriately dishevelled, whether it's the flooded backwater swamps of Louisiana, or the claustrophobic Nazi base you explore. Lighting tricks, heavy use of gore, and other details are welcome too. The sound is similarly rough in spots, with spotty voice work certainly fitting the B-movie tone well. The effects are potent though, especially the squirm-inducing sound of bloodsucking, and the music mixes gothic overtones and early 2000s metal to decent effect.
No one left. Damn it. Time to put an end to this. I'll find those bastards and rip their legs off one by one.
You definitely could not accuse BloodRayne of being deep, and it's not consistent in quality. But to be honest, a lot of these issues can be overlooked thanks to fast-paced combat, gratifying vampiric mechanics, and generally solid design, which plays to these strengths. Some may tire of the slower-paced opening, and more conscientious gamers may find the lack of gameplay evolution disappointing. But those looking for a cheesy, bombastic, and enjoyable action game would do well to add this one to the collection.